I want to bring up a brand, Matt from Late Sunday Afternoon. Everybody please give a warm welcome to Matt. How you doing, sir? So yeah, hearing from both sides of the spectrum, from the industry side, people that have sold and that have, but we want to hear from a founder who's a lot similar to you guys and has been through a lot, seen a lot, and has been at the trade shows and whatnot. So just really quickly, if you could just talk about what your brand is about and where you're from and everything.
My name is Matthew Schuldkrat, and I started Late Sunday Afternoon in 2012 out of my beachside apartment in Venice Beach. And since then, I've grown to 78 stores around the country and a couple worldwide. I still make everything myself, my own production staff, my own creative directors. We do everything in-house, and really have gone pretty much on the same path as all of you. This is not an easy time to be doing what we're all doing. The transition from the old paradigm to the new paradigm has been shifting through what that previous woman was talking about with technology and what these two were talking about. And I just feel like the essence of the new paradigm of where we're all going and where I see myself fitting in right now is you have to claim your space and own it. And everything is about believing in what you do. If you are asking questions about how it's done or how to get into here or here, for me, it's a quick fix. It's something like, you want to get into a Nordstrom, but you can't afford to do this. It's not how a baby grows. You know, a baby just doesn't be born and then go to college. You grow a baby and you nurture it and you take care of it and you feed it when it's hungry, and sometimes you make some coffee and the baby's playing and then the baby pulls the coffee off the table and burns its arm. And that happens with companies. I wasted like $20,000 this year just on bad moves that I thought were great at the time. I was like so dialed that what I was doing was the right decision to spend that money and do that. And in retrospect, the failure was phenomenal because I learned a ton, but it feels like you really feel it when you're the size of all of our companies. And it's really important at this stage to, where I'm at, just feel good when you wake up in the morning. And
what would you say, so dialing back, when the baby was born, what was the first thing you did when you started your brand? Like some of the first things?
The first things I did were the housekeeping, I guess. Logo, name, website, labels, hang tags. I filed as an LLC.
Did you do a trademark? Curious.
I trademarked immediately, and I just thank God I trademarked, because a larger company that's similar to my name came after me this year. And it was a lot of anxiety because I thought, here's a $25 million a year company, and I'm nowhere near that, and they're telling me, with their lawyers that I can't use it, and I have a legal trademark. And I spent the year...
So I think that answers your question of the person that asked about the trademark. Go ahead.
I mean, these days, everything's going so quick. And the real trend, I believe, from having my nose on the scene is if you look at what's been done, you're missing the train because you're looking at the train go by. And you want to be the one shoveling the coal in the engine. And the only way that's done is if you wake up every morning and like a journalist hits the beat, they go and they find the story. You have to find your story every day. And when a baby is young, it's hungry all the time. And your young companies, whatever you're selling or creating, and what I'm doing, it needs to be fed every day. And, I'm not a believer that you have to do like a post every day to make your company whatever. I have been posting on Instagram since the beginning, and when I go on vacation, I don't post. And like today, I didn't post till like 1 o'clock, but the essence is, how authentic are you? If you don't feel like it, don't do it. And then at least you'll be authentic, because the theory that I go by in my life is, if you're authentic with your words and your actions and your creativity, you don't have to worry about anything because you're being authentic. So you don't have to backpedal or remember what you told a buyer or a trade show. You are who you are. And, you know, when it comes down to it, when I did Pool this year and I split a booth with a friend that I met at Pool, so networking is positive, I got to the booth and I just was so not into what was in my booth. There was a lot of furniture, there's a lot of stuff going on. And what I did was I just took the extra time to just deconstruct the booth and do what worked for me. And I ended up just doing all my sales on the floor. I set up like a little stage on the floor, and I put all the scarves that I make on the floor, on the little, it was a shelf that I turned down and then took the shelving off and built a stage, and that worked for me. And I attracted the stores that I wanted, because those are the people who are like, who the hell's this guy? And why is he different than all the rest? And then all the other stores that didn't like what I had going on passed by. And they'll be late because I believe I'm what's going on right now. And I believe that. I don't need a big order. And it's been almost 4 years now, and what has sustained me is hustling and being authentic, and at the same time, attracting stores that you could be friends with. You know, you want to be working with these people who will pay you up front for your goods and then call you in 3 weeks and be like, I sold out of your stuff. Why did they sell out of your stuff? They sold out of your stuff because they believe in you. And when an awkward person comes into their store to buy from them, they go, well, let me tell you about Late Sunday Afternoon. This guy's got a great story. And that's the essence of where we're heading right now, is all of you have something authentic because it's a representation of your belief systems and where you've come from and your own inner creativity. And you really want to begin to learn how to personify that with a ritual and a practice of how you wake up I wake up every day at around 6, I crawl my ass into the ocean, I surf for like 3 hours, I walk my dogs, sometimes I go to yoga, I'll have a brunch with some friends in Venice, and then I start my workday at 11 or 12. In between that time, I've already done an Instagram post. I've already, you know, how quick are all y'all on responding to emails in the morning? And most of you probably grab your phone as soon as you wake up, you know? So it's not like you have to go to the office and do that stuff. So mixing your lifestyle, which I'm assuming all of you already do, into your business practice is what makes the brand right now, you know? And whoever you are, whether it's this guy in the front row or you're going to attract stores out there that want you. And that's how it is in life. You attract your group of friends in the same way in your social networks. And there's no difference anymore between the old way, there's no difference anymore between your social aspect of how you live your life and how successful you are at that and your business.
That was deep. Shit.
I know,
I'm feeling it though. Yeah, thank you.
It's a theme in my life.
There you go. So to the hustle part, because I've seen you at Renegade too, and then at Pool. So like, what do you do differently, or you know, how do you feel about being at a consumer show or being at like a wholesale show? Do you have a different approach,
Sure.
or are you just one way?
No, authenticity is one way. Okay, I'm the guy that did who has done Unique LA here? Okay, or a Renegade Craft Fair, or wonderful, great places to start. Why? Because you interact with your direct customer one-on-one, and when that happens, you begin to filter what your brand is and how you sell it. When I did my first Renegade, I didn't know how to price my product, and I was nervous, and this woman came to my booth to buy from me, and she's like, you have a great product. Why are you devaluing your product by telling me that you don't know how to price? And I realized that I had to really just forge a path for myself. And I'm the guy at Unique LA. It's on the top floor of the California Market Center. Everyone's waiting for the elevator. I'm carrying my shit down the escalator because I want to get out of there. And that's my authenticity. And when I'm at a trade show or when I do Pool, I'm spending more time with people, just having conversations and talking about their life and why they're here. And I'm not trying to worry about making this or making that. What I'm doing for myself is instilling my brand authenticity, which is me, to these people, making sure that it's not about the dollar. It's about, if you really want to do this for a living and you showed up today, then when you go home at night, really ask yourself, is it about the money, or is it about, can I just do this as my right livelihood? Can I wake up every day for the next 20 years and let's say I end up making, and I plateau at $200,000 a year, and I have a small, humble staff, and I have 300 boutiques around the world. Are you gonna be happy with that? Because right now, like, I'm pretty happy, even though my business is growing. And I've been putting the brakes on different investors that want to invest in me, or larger stores that wanted to place bigger orders. There's an energy that comes around that, and I don't want that right now. I don't want to be in a Nordstrom because that's not the energy that I want to be in. And it's really crucial to me and my business and what I do, because what I make, I don't know if they've told you what I do, but I make prayer shawls, I sell scarves. I buy everything from downtown LA. When it comes into my studio, I smudge it with sage and cedar. I dance with the rolls of fabrics. I pull every scarf around my neck. I cut each one a different size because each one of you is a different size. I sew every scarf with a different color to give it its own unique feel. And then the end seam, which in the fashion world is usually cut off or stitched down, I tie a knot and I do a blessing. And I bless each corner to love, adventure, happiness, and mystery. How did that come about? I never did that for like the first 3 months I started the company. And my brother got a scarf. He goes, the ends look sloppy, because I left them really long and I thought they were cool, and I'd let the consumer do what they were gonna do with them. So I lit up a joint and I started sewing, and when I was figuring out what to do with them, I tied a knot. And when I knotted it, I knotted the end with my life force. And my life's energy goes into this, as yours does every day, whether you're living in duality between an old job or this, you're doing it full time. It's your life force. And when you make that jewelry, when you make that pair of socks, whatever you're doing, it's you. And if you didn't wake up in the morning and do it, who would do it? So I knotted it and I blessed it with my energy, and then I thought about what are the things that I believe in that every human being should really embody, and love, happiness, adventure, and mystery were that. And like a child, everything grows. I just started working with the Department of Children and Family Services, and I created basically an all-phone-all program, which is my orders translate in donating blankies to children now. And I make custom blankies for the orphans in LA. And I decided, well, I don't want love, happiness, adventure, and mystery for an orphan. I want balance, discovery, home, play, love. And I bless it to those things. And I create a separate label for those things. And that's my authenticity, is I'm willing to spend a little bit more money or spend a little bit more time to grow my child, so that when my child is older and an investor does want to invest in me that I believe in, that I could look at my kid and go, that's my kid. You know, not I sent my kid off to boarding school and he's learning bad habits from other people. You know?
Can you share any, not too crazy horror stories, but just something, do you ever share a story of something that you did that was wrong, that you think could help other brands?
Can I share a story of something that was wrong?
Or something that happened, you know what I mean, that you said you made a...
First off, I'm like, since I started this company, I've always been trying to like grow my staff, like pay people on my staff to do things that I think they'd be better at than me. And it's just like, I think it's a terrible idea. I hired this girl in March who worked for Helmut Lang, and we negotiated, and she said she's gonna do this, this, and this, and she didn't do any of it, and I fired her, and she was terrible. And I lost $3,500 for that first month because that was the negotiated rate. And I could have really used that. How much? I mean, $3,500 goes a long way when you're our business. And so I'd be careful hiring anybody. At this stage of the game, it is a hustle. And you have to have chutzpah. You have to have the ability to like see down the line and know that the decisions you're making in the moment are the decisions you're making in the moment. And they're usually in line with the decisions you're making in your personal life. You know, I should have never sent that text to that guy, or I ate that and I shouldn't have eaten that. And your business is probably gonna do the same thing. So if you can learn to create a healthy practice for yourself every day as a human being, your business will form the same healthy practices. So I'd rather not focus in on the wrong, because life is just, it's the journey, it's not the destination. Most of you won't end up even doing this for the next 10 years of your life. You'll probably do it for 2 or 3 more years, and you'll change to something else, which is part of all of our paths. And these guys changed jobs. He was doing this, then he was doing that. I used to work at the White House. I was in Obama's first term at the Council on Environmental Quality, and I was a resident urban planner. And when my dad passed away, I moved to Venice. And I started Occupy Venice with Occupy Wall Street, and I was living on the street. And I made a scarf for myself because the marine layer blew into Venice and I was freezing. And I went to the fabric store and I found a $1 piece of scrap fabric and I made a scarf in the back when the seamstress went out to lunch. And I had no idea how to use a machine. But that's how I've always been. I don't care that I don't know something, I'll just do it. And the wrong and the making mistakes is the analogy that I use for everyone in life, whether I'm talking about personal issues or business, is that depression, wrong, mistakes, everything that happens that you don't view as a positive in life is the same thing as compost. You know, you eat a vegetable, you peel a carrot, you throw it in the compost, and it gets disgusting, and it gets black and smelly, but then that compost turns into black gold, and you plant seeds in it, and it grows more food for you. And it's the same thing in life, is make mistakes, you know, celebrate your mistakes, and keep going, because those are going to arm you with everything you need to be what you consider as successful.
It's so hard to follow these statements. Yeah, but...
Is this helpful?
It's amazing, bro. So this may be a lame question, but where do you see your brand going? Like, where do you want it to go? Because if the average person that may be up here, because you're pretty unique, I feel like, the average person would say, like, I want to be in Nordstrom, or, you know, I want to be here, and I want to be $1 billion company, whatever it may be. So I see you as kind of an alternative side of things, of thinking. Where do you see Late Sunday Afternoon specifically? What do you want to do with it?
Sure. A great friend who actually managed this space, my friend Azuro, he said to me when we were driving up to a ceremony in Santa Barbara, he was saying to me that, you know, you could be a $40 million company and have a 4% net, or you could be, you know, a $4 million company and have a 40% net. And I never thought like that, because we're all socially conditioned to be the Jay-Z or the huge brand that blows up and is. But the mantra that I go by is, what do I want in my life right now? You know, I don't have any kids. I don't have a wife. I have 2 dogs and a house on the beach. So what I need for myself and my desires and to give back to the community is what I need. And I highly suggest everyone approach their career goals like that, because that is a story of abundance, not a story of scarcity. If you want to be a $1 billion company, you're going to be living in a story of scarcity and wondering why you're not measuring up to, you know, that one girl that made it, it's like, who cares? You know, it's, if you're happy and you can afford to pay your life and your food and help your family if you need to help your family, or do the project and advance your goals and your thing, then that's wonderful, because that's authentic. What do I want for Late Sunday Afternoon? I want Late Sunday Afternoon in the short term. I'm in 78 stores right now. I want to be in 300 in the next 2 years. And I want to be able to take trips and document those trips. And I want to be able to teach people. When people buy from me, I'm selling a scarf, but I'm selling them what I do, which is teaching people that when you wear one of my shawls, I'm asking you to create a practice for yourself of blessing yourself. Because if you wake up every day and you put on one of my shawls and you remember to bless yourself with love, happiness, adventure, and mystery, you'll create a positive whirlwind of energy around you. So wherever you go, whether it's business or supermarket, you'll be in this higher vibrational practice, and it'll elevate everything you do. And that's why I'm doing what I'm doing. I'm not doing it because I want to sell scarves and I want to necessarily keep people warm, or I want to make these ascots because they're so hip right now. I want to be able to talk to people like I'm talking to you, because it's what I'm passionate about. And this is, when I was living on the street during Occupy, what it was for me was, okay, protesting doesn't work anymore. They basically took over the media, they call you a bunch of hippies, and they push you away, and you're done. So how do you target the general public these days? Well, it's easy. It's really easy. Fashion, because people have consumptive, capitalistic behaviors, and all they want to do is purchase. And entertainment. So when I left the circle, I wrote an illustrated children's book so I could speak to new families, and it's called Change I Will. And I started this company so I could talk to you like I'm talking now, which is, you know, do something that you believe in. I don't know what's going to happen on Late Sunday Afternoon. Someone offered me a lot of money last year to buy it, and they wanted to put it into a sew house and lower the price and blow it up. And I feel really strongly connected to that late Sunday afternoon is my vision and my child, and I want to raise that child to be its own unique citizen in the world, so that the staff that it does attract, and if it does become a $10 million company, it attracts a really humble vibration that it can really produce a right livelihood for the people that work for the company. You know, I have a seamstress that works with me every day for the last 2 years, and I pay for lunch on Thursdays. And when she doesn't come in with the energy that I usually see from her, you know, we sit and we talk, and we don't worry about production. And I want to keep on building my company to the point where it's how I treat my friends, and how I treat all of you, and how I treat myself, which is an open, loving, healthy vibration. And through that, I've realized that I'm already abundant, and I already have what I need. And sure, more money would be nice because I'd be able to do more charity, and I'd be able to reach more people with my message with a billboard or whatever. But the vision for Late Sunday Afternoon truly is to grow amongst the people and to be a brand that goes viral basically by gifting, where people are seeing it from a friend of a friend that was wearing it and say, I love that, I want to be part of that, and they realize what the story is, and it becomes basically a gifting business.
So last question, what would you say just on a practical level, both on a practical level and then a spiritual level, for the people that are here that are about to do their next show, whether it be Pool or Renegade or Unique or whatever this summer, what would a few pointers you could give them on both of those levels?
All right, so Pool was amazing for me. Mainly because it's the real deal. It's not minor leagues. Even though you might think you're doing a cash and carry, it's not. It's the real thing. And real stores of the highest level and the funniest lowest level stores in somewhere South Carolina come to Pool. And they're like, you know, my trade is in urban planning. So I got my master's from University of Michigan. I've worked in the community, and just all of you are different. Everyone that comes to Pool is different. So I guess some main things that you need to do before you go to Pool. One is know how much money you want to make. Someone asked a question about how much stuff do I bring? Bringing much stuff is how much money you want to make. That's you telling the universe that you have a laser of intention. I want to make $10,000. Bring $12,000 worth of inventory. I brought all my inventory that I wanted to sell, and my first Pool trade show, I think I did 8,500 cash and carry with stores and retail, and I was happy as a pig in shit. You know, my second one, I did even better because I knew the playing field. Make sure your booth is unique to you and your personality. Design your booth. Don't overdo it. If you're going to overdo it, you're going to stress when you miss the screw. Do it so it's chill. You know, you don't want to stress yourself out. You're already doing something you're uncomfortable with. So make sure that your booth design is chill and represents you. And pre-build it and set it up before you go there. Okay? That's really important. Also, bring your computers so you can take down people's information. As soon as you get a business card, put it in the Excel spreadsheet and have it and write a little note about it. This woman was cute. She brought her daughter. Are we related on this? And really track who these people are, because it's all about networking and relationships. And I can't tell you how many clients I've had because I've remembered specific details. Also, you want to make sure when you get to Vegas, I always do Airbnb. I don't stay in the hotels because it's not of my vibration. And the Airbnb, I can find a space where I can do my thing. I go to Whole Foods and I stock up there. I don't eat Vegas food because it doesn't make me vibrate right. And you're going to want to have as much power and energy to get through that day, because being in a conference room just like this room is not nature, and it doesn't make you feel alive. So I'd say go to Whole Foods, get a solid breakfast, pack a lunch from Whole Foods, bring some kombuchas or the waters or the coconut milk, whatever you need to feel whole for the day, have it there. And then make sure that you're swiping, whether it's PayPal or QuickBooks or Square, or whatever you're using is working and you're not stressing out about that. If you have a line sheet, have a line sheet. People ask for it, some people don't. You know, cash and carry. You're going to do more business cash and carry through random people who work for Magic that are coming out of the office that are doing it, or the store that doesn't want to buy yet but will buy a piece from you or a couple pieces. So just be prepared to treat everyone as a potential sale, and don't think like, does this person have a shop? Are they going to place an order? And then it doesn't matter. You want to set a goal and you want to hit your goal, and that's going to happen by a multitude of different ways with different people buying from you. You might have someone doesn't have a store that buys $500 from you. like I did. And they were just like, they see it as an opportunity. What else? Pool's a wonderful opportunity. And say just focus and don't sit a lot behind your booth and look schlumpy. You know, the schlumpy face is like such a turnoff. And the only people you're going to attract with a schlumpy face are schlumpy customers. You know? So be yourself and do things for yourself that morning or throughout the day that awaken you and make you feel alive. And really also get into a practice of acknowledging yourself. I made it this far. I drove to Vegas. I have a jewelry line. I have a business. I'm not stuck in a cubicle. I'm not someone's slave. I'm my own boss. You're doing something that millions upon millions and millions of people wish that they could do every day. And you're intelligent enough to show up here and take notes and listen to crazy people like me. So you're already doing it. And just remember that, because I think the most important thing of this industry is that it's a total head game, because the people that think they're really good at it in this industry are only good at it because they've compromised, for the most part, their authenticity. And the future of where we're all going, I'm 33, and by the time we're all in our 60s, it's all gonna be about bespoke, artisan, because everything, economies to scale, everything's gonna change. It's not gonna be about Chinese factories. It's not gonna be about, I wanna place an order for 10,000 for Urban Outfitters. You could already tell younger kids are not into that by how people are shopping at Unique LA or Renegade or these small craft fairs. Create a brand that you could stand behind, that your family be proud, and just stay the course, and you'll be totally fine, you know?
Any questions for Matt? Can you come to the mic?
How's it going? Yeah, so I'd approach your question with thinking about water and how it changes shape, because all of you are going to need to be shapeshifters as you move forward. So when water freezes, it's what? It's stiff, it's rigid, it cracks, splinters, and it's ice. It's not friendly to work with, right? But what is water when it's a liquid form? It can seep through cracks. It can access people. Sometimes you're like, where did that droplet come from? It came from somewhere. And that's the essence of being a small company right now, is you want to be as fluid as water. So when someone wants to do consignment, feel it out. And if you feel like you have enough inventory, or you could be like, yeah, I'll give you 10 pieces. And it's like, they're going to sit in your den or they're going to sit on their shelf. I'm up for sitting on your shelf. If everyone's asking you for consignment, it's a different story. But I do consignment with people, and some people I don't. Some people I do net 30, and some people I want my check before I even send it to you. You get to be, you know, who's familiar with Star Wars? You get to learn how to be a Jedi and start playing like mind games with these people and understand who you can trust and who you can't. And some people you're gonna maybe take a loss on because they won't end up selling anything, and they'll just give you your product back. And some people will be like, I'm selling out every 9 days. Like, I sell at Deus Ex Machina for the last 3 years. And that was my first client, my first store, and it was consignment. And I sell out every 9 days there. And I've gotten into so many other stores and so many movies through that place being a showroom. And I urge you all to take out the word consignment in the beginning and trade it with showroom, because that's what it really is. Stop thinking of it as giving something away. Start thinking of it as your product being seen by other people, because that's the essence for a new business, is you want to be seen. Who doesn't want to be seen? And at Deus, yeah, I gave them like 6 scarves, 6 ascots, and 6 kerchiefs when I started. 6 handkerchiefs. And they put them on their main table in the entire store. And every person in the world that comes to Venice goes through Deus now. And they spend way too much money on the Deus stuff, but the late Sunday afternoon stuff is priced just right for them, and it sells out every 9 days, and people love it, and that's where they see my product. So when you think of consignment, think of where you want to be, and is this the people that I want to sell to? And then say hell yes. And not only say hell yes, but gift the owner. And when you go in there to check on the stuff, gift a customer. I can't stress enough how important gifting is. If you have an open heart with your product and you really want to see it grow, give it away. Give it away. And that in itself will create an energy around your business that will attract more people, because the person that you gave it to will be so excited by I like receiving gifts. And I talk about the things that I just got this necklace from my seamstress. I've been talking about it nonstop. So give your things away. In the beginning, you know how much it costs to make stuff. And there is inherent value in consignment, in gifting people, and being kind to people. There is true value in that.
Okay, we could take one more question if there is any. Yes, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen, a Zero Malin.
So, Matthew, your whole late Sunday afternoon journey, you're going to look back the last, how many years has it been now?
Almost 4.
What would you say was the most proud of? What do you want to acknowledge yourself for?
I would like to acknowledge myself for waking up on the hard days and sticking it out and staring in the face of the fear and the apprehension and the story of scarcity and that I'm not enough, or that, I live in Venice with some very talented people that have businesses that are thriving. And I have a friend who won Survivor, and him and his wife started a dress company, and they got into People magazine, and they do all their sales off of Instagram. He doesn't have to do any of this shit. And I do. And truthfully, it has made me into the man I am today. And it has given me something to talk about to my friends and family. And I'd like to just acknowledge myself for not buying into what everyone else said I had to, but really creating my own essence, whether it was working with you and working out what positives and negatives that were, or right now, I'm opening up a retail store September 1st on Lincoln Boulevard, and I signed the lease yesterday, and that's a big deal for me, and just sticking it out. Yeah, so I'd say, like I said before, I don't know if you were here or not, acknowledge yourself, because you're doing something pretty powerful.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Matt.
Thank
Can I
you.
get an amen for Matt? Thank you. Allie?